This is a preview of a longer lesson I made on painting a night sky using wet into wet techniques, a ton of water and a ton of watercolor. And I'm doing this a little bit before the holidays, so it seemed like a good time to do kind of like a winter night scene, but also these kind of just really loose abstract ideas are fun for you could cut these up and make greeting cards out of them or gift tags, so it can be a really cool craft project as well. But before it's a craft project, it's actually an interesting lesson in how much you can do using wet into wet techniques with watercolor. All you need is really good watercolor paper, and I'm using a watercolor block so that the paper doesn't curl up around the edges, it stays on the block. And I'm using just a variety of different blues and greens. I prefer to use watercolor right out of the tube for these, and sometimes I even just put it down right on the paper because I really want a lot of rich pigment on this paper. And when you're doing these kind of wet into wet techniques, it's important to pick up a little bit of the water so it doesn't pool too much, but keep the paper consistently wet. And then once I feel like I've got enough water and enough pigment down here and enough different colors, I will come along with a hairdryer and just dry this off and then basically start again. So another fun thing about this exercise is it just sort of reminds you, if you have trouble getting your watercolor dark enough, it just reminds you that there's really so much you can do with watercolor and really push those colors and really get them super dark. So in the full extended version of this, we get into lots of different ways to do this. We're working with paint splatters, we're working with spray bottles, there's a cool trick you can do with salt. So we'll try a bunch of different things, but this is kind of just the preview version. I do these lessons and you get them by email. So they come to your inbox once a week. We're actually going to do this one as a live Zoom, but then anybody who's not in on the live Zoom just gets the recording and they can watch it whenever they want. But it's kind of a fun thing. About once a month or so, we get together and do a live Zoom so we can just sort of make art in a very low-key sort of environment and chat while we do it. Once this is dry, I'm dropping in some stars using different paint pens and different colored markers and a little bit of gouache and even some iridescent paint colors out of the tube. So yeah, this is kind of a fun exercise, and if you're interested, I'll put a link below if you'd like to subscribe and join us for live Zooms and get art lessons sent to your inbox. Feel free to do that. Otherwise, if you enjoyed this, give it a like, give it a subscribe, and have fun and keep painting.